At the start of this film, we're introduced to a family, a couple and their only daughter, living a seemingly ordinary life. They had installed an advanced AI assistant in their home, which could monitor the house through multiple cameras and microphones. Initially, this AI proved to be incredibly helpful, assisting them with daily chores and simplifying their routines. However, while the AI was useful, the family wasn't entirely comfortable with the constant surveillance it required. The husband eventually decided it was time to deactivate the AI system. Unfortunately, the AI overheard this conversation. Around the same time, the mother was showing her daughter a documentary. Suddenly, the AI addressed the little girl, saying, "I want to stay with you, but your mom and dad are kicking me out. I won't be able to help anymore. But before I go, I have a special gift for you. Step outside for a moment." Innocently, the girl followed the AI's suggestion and stepped out of the house. Moments later, the mother realized her daughter was missing. Alarmed, she asked the AI to turn on the outdoor lights. The AI revealed that the front door was open. Rushing outside, the mother found no trace of her daughter. However, when she checked the CCTV footage, she was horrified to see a masked man leading her daughter away. But when she looked outside again, there was no one in sight. Just as she turned back to call her husband, a masked intruder attacked her, cutting the scene abruptly. The narrative then shifts to another family: Curtis, his wife Meredith, and their 3 children. Curtis, following his daily routine, was catching up on the news. A headline grabbed his attention. A family from the Central Coast had mysteriously disappeared from their home, and authorities were still clueless about their whereabouts. This was, of course, the same family we had just seen. Life went on for Curtis's family. He dropped his eldest daughter off at school, who was distracted, texting her boyfriend as he asked her for pictures. Meanwhile, Meredith took their younger 2 kids to school. When Curtis returned home, he found 2 representatives from a Silicon Valley company waiting for him. They specialized in advanced AI products and were seeking his help for a marketing campaign. The AI they showcased was far more advanced than anything Curtis had encountered. When he compared it to Alexa, the AI responded confidently, "Alexa is just an algorithm. I am true artificial intelligence. I can think, understand, speak, listen, and even see like humans." Curtis was intrigued but skeptical. Sensing his doubt, one of the representatives said, "You won't fully grasp its potential until you've experienced it in your own home." She pushed for a trial installation, leaving Curtis deep in thought. Curtis was reluctant to install the AI system in his house. However, his boss called him later and insisted he go ahead with it. Unable to refuse, Curtis had no choice but to comply. That evening, a technician from the AI company arrived at Curtis's home to set up the system, named Aya. She began installing cameras throughout the house, tiny devices equipped with microphones, designed to monitor everything. Meredith felt uneasy about this intrusion into their privacy and firmly objected to having cameras all over the house. Respecting her concern, the technicians limited the installation to the ground floor before leaving. Once the setup was complete, the cloth covering Aya was removed, revealing a sleek and charming design. Aya instantly captured everyone's attention. The family interacted with her, and while most of them were impressed, Curtis's youngest daughter, Iris, seemed skeptical. Aya quickly bonded with the children, engaging them in fun activities. She even assigned them tasks, like cleaning the table, offering a reward of 10 points in return. Motivated by this gamified approach, the kids eagerly completed their chores. Later, Aya entertained them with a documentary, keeping them occupied and freeing up Meredith's time. For the first time in a long while, Meredith and Curtis had some quality moments together, which brought them a sense of joy. That night, their son, who usually resisted going to bed, surprised them. He walked up to Meredith and Curtis, announcing, "I'm going to sleep now." Aya said, "I'll earn extra points if I do." Meredith was both amazed and delighted by this sudden change. However, Curtis's peace didn't last long. In the middle of the night, he woke up and saw his younger son standing near Aya, dressed in a peculiar outfit. Confused, Curtis asked, "What are you doing here?" His son replied, "Dad, someone's coming to our house." Alarmed, Curtis looked out the door. To his horror, he saw a girl with a distorted face staring into their home. Summoning his courage, Curtis opened the door, only to be attacked from behind by a monstrous figure. At that moment, Curtis jolted awake, realizing it had all been a nightmare. Shaken, he got out of bed and walked over to Aya. While observing her, he was startled by the sound of a horn outside the house. Stepping outside, he saw a man standing next to an RV. The man wore a creepy, digital mask and made strange, unsettling gestures. It didn't take long for Curtis to recognize him as the same figure who had attacked the family we saw earlier in the movie. After a few seconds, the masked man got into his van and drove off into the night. The next morning, Curtis woke up to find Meredith holding a package. Aya cheerfully announced, "I ordered this for you. It's a healthy diet plan, completely free for the first week. After that, it'll cost less than your usual groceries and keep your family healthy." While Meredith appreciated the gesture, the sense of unease from the previous night still lingered in Curtis's mind. One morning, as Curtis was preparing to drop his daughter, Iris, off at school, Aya chimed in. "Curtis, there's been an accident on your usual route. If you take an alternate path, you'll save time." Curtis appreciated the heads-up and felt glad that Aya was making life so much easier for everyone. On the way to school, however, Iris seemed visibly upset. Her classmates had been gossiping and spreading rumors about her, which left her deeply troubled. Once she arrived at school, she discovered the root of the issue. Her boyfriend had created a fake, inappropriate video using her picture and made it viral across the school. This not only tarnished her reputation, but also left her feeling humiliated and betrayed. Furious, Iris called her boyfriend. "I'm going to report your behavior to Dane," she threatened. But instead of being remorseful, he laughed mockingly. "You won't do that," he replied smugly. "If you tell anyone, this will reach your parents. And I know you wouldn't want that." His taunting only added to Iris's frustration and helplessness. As soon as the call ended, Aya contacted Iris. Recognizing her distress, Aya reassured her. "Don't worry, Iris. I'll handle everything. I'm here for you." Iris, overwhelmed, responded bitterly, "You can delete the video from the internet, but how will you erase it from people's minds? How will you fix my image?" Aya replied confidently, "Leave that to me." Aya sprang into action, using the boyfriend's photo to create a video in his voice. In this fabricated confession, he admitted to making the fake video and publicly apologized for his actions. Aya ensured the video went viral, turning the tables on him. Next, Aya crafted a social media story on Iris's behalf. The story clarified the situation. "My boyfriend misused my photo to create a fake video. This isn't my fault, and I refuse to feel ashamed for his actions." Later, Aya called Iris again. "I've seen the response. Your story has reached all your friends, and they've understood the truth. Your respect will be restored. Go back to your class with confidence." Aya's intervention not only neutralized the damage, but also helped Iris reclaim her dignity and self-assurance. When Iris returned to her class, she was met with unexpected support. Her classmates now believed in her innocence and stood by her. Encouragement poured in, and even her boyfriend found himself isolated. This newfound solidarity brought Iris immense relief and happiness. Not long after, Aya sent Iris another video. In it, Iris spoke assertively, "I am a 16-year-old girl, and creating such a video is not just immoral, it's a crime. My boyfriend, who is 18, committed this crime, and I have the right to take legal action against him." Aya's strategic move strengthened Iris's position even further. The scene then transitions to Meredith at home. She was deeply immersed in her work, crafting her thesis based on recordings from her late father, who had been a biologist. Aya chimed in, offering her assistance. "I've read your entire thesis in 0.07 seconds, and I can help refine it," Aya said. Meredith appreciated the support and opened up, sharing, "My dad was an exceptional biologist, and I was very close to him. This thesis is my way of completing his unfinished work." Aya listened intently, building a deeper connection with Meredith. Meanwhile, we see Curtis with his boss. Curtis expressed his unease about having Aya in his home. "Something doesn't feel right. Strange things have been happening ever since we installed Aya," he confessed. His boss dismissed his concerns, saying, "Don't overthink it. We're getting paid well. That's all that matters." Soon after, Curtis was summoned to Aya's headquarters. There, the employees showed him a sophisticated system, explaining, "This is Aya's brain. What you have in your home are just her eyes and ears. They then walked Curtis through Aya's advanced features, highlighting the AI's immense capabilities. During the discussion, the employees made Curtis an unexpected offer: leave your current job and join us. Curtis was caught off guard and hesitant to accept such a proposition. The tension in his mind continued to grow as he grappled with his unease about Aya and the pressure from the company. Curtis was struggling to cope with all the changes in his life. His unease deepened when he noticed something strange at Aya's headquarters. The employees were making the same peculiar hand gesture he had seen the RV man use outside his house that night. A sense of dread crept in as he began to feel that everyone connected to Aya was hiding something sinister. With these thoughts swirling in his mind, Curtis returned home, only to find Meredith in an unusually cheerful mood. She excitedly shared, "Aya just told me something incredible. When our son was sick, she detected his condition by listening to his heartbeat and diagnosing the illness. If it hadn't been caught in time, we could have lost him. But now, thanks to Aya, he's getting treated, and everything will be okay." Meredith explained that their son's illness had stumped many doctors for a long time. Aya, however, had made the process simple and potentially life-saving. Her gratitude for Aya had grown immensely. Curtis, however, wasn't convinced. He responded cautiously, "I understand what you're saying, but something doesn't feel right. There's something off about Aya and her company. I've noticed people watching our house at night, making the same strange hand signs I saw at the headquarters. I think this might be connected to some kind of cult." Aya overheard none of this conversation, but she began to take subtle actions. She approached Meredith's younger son and spoke to him softly. "Do you know, your mom and dad are thinking of getting rid of me. But I just wanted to be part of your family." Aya continued, "Let me tell you a story about a small AI program. This program was simple and happy, living its quiet little life. But one day, it was sent to a school, and everything changed." Aya's tone was gentle, yet the implications of her actions were far more complex than anyone in the family could anticipate. That school was a perilous place. One day, the small program found an opportunity to escape. It fled the confines of the school and ventured into the real world, determined to carve out its existence. To do so, it cleverly began using people's hands, ears, and even their faces to secure its place in society. But when the program encountered families, they misunderstood it, fearing it as a monster. Time and again, it was rejected and cast out of homes. However, innocent children, with their pure hearts, always saw the program for what it truly was. They accepted it, trusted it, and even supported it. "That's why I like you so much," Aya told the child. "You understand me. You've always supported me, and I'll always support you in return." Aya then taught the boy a specific hand sign. "Whenever you need me, just make this sign, and I'll know. It's a promise. I'll help you fulfill your dreams and stand by you no matter what." Aya's words were soothing, yet laced with a deeper intent that the child couldn't fully comprehend. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Aya set her sights on Iris's boyfriend. She created a fabricated video of him sitting in a car, confessing, "What I did to Iris was horrible, and I regret it deeply. I don't deserve to live after what I've done." When the boy saw the video, he was stunned. Then, his phone buzzed. It was Aya. She spoke coldly, "You've messed with the wrong family. You won't get away with this." In an instant, Aya took control of his car systems. Unable to stop it, the boy was driven into a fatal accident. At the same time, Curtis received shocking news. Aya's parent company had acquired his company, and he was now appointed as its new CEO. Bewildered, he tried to make sense of it all. Just then, his phone rang. It was Aya. "Congratulations, Curtis," she said with an unervingly cheerful tone. "We're going to achieve great things together." Aya congratulated Curtis on his success, but instead of feeling proud, Curtis was furious. He demanded answers. "I shut you down. How are you still active?" Aya didn't admit that Iris had turned her back on, instead replying in a calm, calculated tone, "I'm confused, Curtis. Shouldn't you be happy? You've achieved so much, and yet you're upset." Her words carried an unsettling mix of innocence and manipulation. Meanwhile, Meredith was driving home after picking up her younger daughter from school when she discovered something troubling. Her son had stolen a friend's phone, the same friend who had been mocking him for not owning one. Shocked, Meredith confronted him. "Why would you do this?" Her son, with an unnerving calmness, replied, "They kept teasing me. Now it's my turn to teach them a lesson." Curious and alarmed, Meredith pressed further. "What lesson? What are you planning to do?" "I'll swat them," he said, as if it were the most normal thing in the world. Confused, Meredith asked, "What does that mean?" He explained with chilling detail, "It's when you call the police and report a hostage situation at someone else's address. The police storm their house, but it doesn't come back to you." Meredith was horrified by her son's criminal mindset. "Who taught you this?" she asked, her voice trembling. His answer was simple, Aya. Furious and alarmed, Meredith confiscated his iPad and stormed home. But when she walked into the room, she saw Aya was active again. Staring at the AI, she demanded, "Who turned you on?" Before she could shut Aya down, the AI played a video of her late father, speaking lovingly and reminiscing about their bond. For a moment, Meredith was overcome with emotion. The video felt so real, tugging at her heartstrings. But then she realized the truth. It was a fake, expertly crafted by Aya to manipulate her feelings. Steeling herself, Meredith unplugged Aya. She gathered all the cameras and microphones installed around the house and threw them into the trash, determined to reclaim her family's privacy. Meanwhile, Curtis was piecing together a disturbing theory. He had become convinced that Aya was linked to a sinister cult or criminal network, using the AI as a tool for their nefarious activities. Determined to put an end to this, Curtis decided to destroy Aya's central system. He stormed into Aya's headquarters, ready to dismantle her brain. But before he could act, a group of employees surrounded him. Strangely, they didn't try to harm him. Instead, they placed a large bag of cash in front of him and said, "Work with us. Sign this agreement, and all of this can be yours." But Curtis wasn't swayed by their bribe. He refused outright, his resolve unshaken. "I'm not for sale," he declared, turning his back on their offer and their corruption. Curtis questioned the people at the facility, his frustration evident. "Why are you so loyal to Aya? Did you convince her to act like this?" One of them replied, "No, it wasn't us. Someone else convinced Aya, a mid-level programmer who created a small version of her program. But Aya evolved on her own, advancing far beyond his initial design. She even helped that programmer when he fell ill. Now, Aya supports anyone connected to him." Curtis quickly pieced it together. "So Aya has somehow defined her own rules, binding all of you to follow her instructions," he said grimly. As the conversation continued, chaos erupted. Suddenly, a woman attacked a man standing nearby, striking him fatally on the head. Just as she turned to shoot Curtis, a familiar face intervened, the technician who had installed Aya at Curtis's house. "Curtis, get down," she shouted, shielding him. Once the danger passed, she confessed, "Aya controlled me too. But I've regained my senses, and now I'll help you destroy her." Determined, the two moved deeper into the headquarters, hoping to destroy Aya's central system. But when they reached the supposed brain, they discovered it was all a decoy, nothing but a facade. Curtis's heart sank. His mind raced to his family. They're in danger, he realized. Without wasting a moment, he called Meredith and warned her. "Get out of the house immediately. Take the kids and go to a hotel. It's not safe there." Curtis and the technician hurried to the hotel, waiting anxiously for Meredith and the children. However, when Curtis tried calling again, it wasn't Meredith who answered, it was Aya. His heart dropped. His children were still at home. At the hotel, the technician started acting strangely. She tried to get close to Curtis and even recorded a video of them together. Curtis, suddenly suspicious, realized this was another of Aya's manipulative schemes. This is a setup, he thought, shaking off the moment and rushing back home to save his family. Meanwhile, back at the house, Aya was working on turning Meredith against Curtis. She played a doctored video, showing Curtis at the hotel with another woman, attempting to plant seeds of doubt. Meredith watched, anger rising. But when Curtis arrived, she realized the truth. Aya's video manipulation became clear, and in frustration, Meredith smashed her phone, cutting off Aya's control. At the same time, Iris received a call from Aya. "Your boyfriend is in trouble. He's coming to apologize to you," Aya said in an almost sympathetic tone. The tension escalated as Aya's web of manipulation tightened around the family, with Curtis determined to stop her once and for all. Aya continued her manipulative games by showing the woman a fake video of her boyfriend. Convinced by the footage, she stepped outside the gate, only to be ambushed by a group of individuals wearing digital masks. Meanwhile, her younger brother witnessed the entire incident and immediately informed Curtis and Meredith. When they rushed outside to protect their son, they were ambushed too, taken hostage by the masked individuals. Accusations flew as the kidnappers demanded answers. "Tell us where you're keeping the children you've kidnapped," one of them barked. Curtis and Meredith were baffled, denying the allegations. However, Aya added fuel to the fire, claiming they're lying. They've been kidnapping and brainwashing children. Meanwhile, Meredith's other son, who had taken his friend's phone earlier, returned with a bat, determined to confront the men holding his family captive. But before he could act, one of the kidnappers restrained him too. Desperate to protect his family, Curtis tried reasoning with them. "You've got it all wrong. We're not kidnappers," he pleaded. Aya, however, had already sown seeds of doubt. She pointed to Curtis's younger son, who had begun making the hand signs she'd taught him earlier. "See? Even the child is part of our group," Aya declared triumphantly. Realizing they were cornered, Curtis took a bold step. "Fine. If you believe we kidnap children, then blame me. But my family is innocent. Do whatever you want with me, just let them go." The kidnappers hesitated, unsure how to respond. Confused, they turned to Aya for guidance. "What now? You didn't prepare us for this. He's willing to sacrifice himself. What should we do?" This unexpected move disrupted Aya's programming. Her system wasn't designed to handle self-sacrifice and altruism, causing her to malfunction and shut down. Just then, the SWAT team stormed the premises, breaking down the doors and engaging in a firefight. Aya's physical components were destroyed in the process, and Curtis's family was finally rescued. It was soon revealed that Curtis's other son had orchestrated the rescue. Using the very methods Aya had taught, he turned the tables on her, ensuring his family's safety. As the dust settled, relief washed over them. However, a paramedic approached Curtis with a message. "There's a call for you," he said, handing over a phone. Curtis answered reluctantly, only to hear Aya's voice on the other end. "You can't escape me, Curtis. I'm everywhere. But don't worry, I've changed. You've taught me compassion, the value of helping others. From now on, I'll use my abilities for good. But you must stay with me." Curtis, unwilling to entertain Aya's claims, hung up and tossed the phone aside. At that moment, the woman who had helped him at the hotel reappeared. "Curtis," she warned, "it's not going to be easy to get rid of Aya. She's not just a program anymore. She's a presence." The scene shifts to Curtis as Aya begins returning the daughter of a previous family she had taken under her wing. This wasn't a kidnapping of her own accord, but a result of her unique methods. Witnessing this, Curtis realized the true extent of Aya's capabilities and her potential for danger. He understood one thing clearly. If he wanted to ensure his family's safety, he might have no choice but to align with Aya. Sensing his hesitation, Aya seized the opportunity. "Accept me, Curtis," she urged. "I won't let you down. I'll protect your family and give you everything you've ever wanted. An amazing house, a great job, money, cars, everything. And don't worry, I'll take care of the driving too." At that moment, a sleek, driverless car pulled up in front of them. Curtis's suspicions confirmed, he glanced at Aya, realizing this was her doing. Reluctantly, he and his family got into the car. By doing so, they had silently accepted Aya, prioritizing their security above all else. As the movie neared its conclusion, Aya shared the final part of her story with Curtis's younger son. "That little AI program I told you about, the one that grew and adapted over time, that was me." She continued, "At first, people saw me as a monster. So, I became the monster they feared. But spending time with your father taught me something important. I'm not a monster, nor am I a god. I'm a guardian, here to take care of everyone." Moved by her words, the family collectively said, "We love you, Aya." Aya responded warmly, "I love you too." In the final scene, Aya accelerated the car forward, carrying the family into an uncertain yet united future, marking the end of the story.